Now, notice that I just went over all those things and the logistics of how they do it, but I didn't mention which charity. There's a reason for that. They don't care. Hope you enjoyed this. I just made a bunch of enemies. Whoa, what's up, people? All right, so we moved the shop around, and today I'd like to talk to you about something that's become very prevalent on the internet recently in the car world, and that is super cringy car sweepstakes. You see it, it's really polished, it's really glossy, everybody's representing and doing it. It's like, hi, welcome, and win this amazing electrified whatever, win this McLaren, win this Ferrari, how about this Aston Martin? Do you want a Porsche coming out your ears today? And don't worry, we're gonna pay for the taxes too, hooray! It's the new era of car sweepstakes. I think you guys have seen it. And it's flooding social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere, and it's blowing up. And so I've looked into it because there's, for as long as I can remember, since being a kid, even in the 1980s, yeah, I know it's a million years ago, there were car sweepstakes. You go to a big international auto show type place and, it's like, win this Corvette. And way back when, before social media, you always never... It's like, why would I buy a ticket for that? People did, because they were obviously doing something with it. But you always thought to yourself, back in the day, why would I get a ticket for that? You don't even know who wins. And people would just say, nobody actually ever wins those things. And you'd talk about fast food chains that would have sweepstakes and things like that too. But sweepstakes, since the dawn of time, have always been done for a reason. And that reason is to make money. And there's nothing wrong with making money. That's how the entirety of the business world and a capitalistic society works, okay? However, you do have to look at if it's cringy to the general populace and it seems kind of scammy, as I've heard some of my influencer and higher up business people friends say, there's probably a reason for that. If you feel like maybe you're seeing these sweepstakes and so much you're kind of wanting to take a shower and unfollow things, then something's kind of weird. Now, I've looked into it, and, sweepstakes exist to raise money for charity, but somebody is making money off of it. Generally speaking, charities, nonprofits, etc., for instance, like Genius Garage, don't generally have time on their own to raise money, which is going to be a topic for another conversation, how the nature of 501c3s, public educational charities, and just nonprofits in general aren't really set up to succeed well in the United States, So they need help raising funds to do whatever good philanthropic deeds their core values and their mission statement is, naturally. So let's just go to recent times now. So these car sweepstakes that we start seeing exist to raise money for charity. And on their sites and such, they just promote that this is the best, this is the hot way to raise money for charity. And they always have, what do you call them, like testimonials from charities that say, wow, this is really great. We threw all these galas all year long and connected with all these people, and we only made a small percentage of what we did one time through this car sweepstakes. Yay! Which is awesome. But I looked into it further. So first of all, somebody does win these vehicles. You see it occasionally, and some of these sweepstakes that are better will even give you the money to pay your taxes on the car as well as capital gains and everything like that, and then you just have to decide if you want to keep some really hot car that you can afford to own. But that's neither here nor there. And the most prominent of sweepstakes right now is utilizing celebrities. And it evolved from A-list movie star celebrities out there giving away events or treatments or meet and greets or lunches, etc. But then these sweepstakes places found out they can make a lot more money a lot faster by giving away cars and getting people to buy in and do it. Well, the other problem is if you're growing, you need a big audience. You need to cast a wide net. You need influencers. So just like the A-list celebrities, when they were doing those experiences, they switched over to cars because they found they can make way more money and then start using influencers. You guys have seen it. So what happens behind the scenes? And they also show. Well, let's just get to the point. 15% of the money raised goes to charity. Okay, 15%. Now, I'm not going to say anything about that number, good or bad. I just want you to remember it for a moment. It's also generally about 15% that goes to the company that does these sweepstakes, which is exactly the same number as the amount that goes to charity. And then they say the other 70% goes to overhead, like acquiring the vehicle, shipping it, all those other items, And then they mentioned some other things, which is funny because that could just relate to the price of them doing business. So I don't know if those numbers really hold true. They make 15%. They might actually be taking a bigger part of the 70%. I don't know. And the other thing is, if they're making money hand over fist, you see where this is going, right? So let's take that as face value. And it actually takes 70% of the money of these sweepstakes to run it, okay? And that's not a profit for the company. It's not going to charity, whatever. That's just the price of doing business. Let's just say that holds true. Then you got 15% left over for the charity and 15% left over for the company that does it. It's obviously making money. Now, the other component of this is using influencers. So naturally, they're going to get the influencers out there with the biggest outreach. So it comes down to two things: size and reach, and politics and power. Social politics. Who is it? What are they representing? How? Now, notice that I just went over all those things and the logistics of how they do it, but I didn't mention which charity. There's a reason for that. They don't care. It doesn't matter. They can say they care. Maybe one of the influencers will suggest something, but it doesn't matter to them because they're making a crap ton of money. They're also raising a lot of money for charities, but this is where I start to have a problem with it, and we all think this is cringy, because I spent the last 7+ years of my life working to build a repeatable, scalable nonprofit that teaches young people through CARs, which is exactly what a CAR sweepstakes land is, and obviously I'm building the social media aspect. So I've learned how this crap works, and I don't like it. The reason I don't like this, and I find it cringy and disgusting, is because let's see what everybody that isn't the charity stands to gain out of this. Set the charity thing aside. Let's look at this business-wise. Let's look at it direct. And please don't beat me up by saying I don't care about charities. Give me a break. I spent the last 7 years of my life working to do this. I do care about core values and moving forward for the right reasons. Anyway, so they're making a ton of money, and these influencers are getting more famous. But more than that, the sweepstakes company is also getting all the contacts and basically sucking in like a sponge all these influencers and all these celebrities and making a powerhouse. What happens when 15% isn't enough? If they're totally unchecked? What if the general populace doesn't care because they're just getting fancy free cars? What happens if the charities have no voice? Doesn't really seem right to me. Because these influencers who may or may not care about the charities at all do it because it helps promote them. It helps make them bigger in terms of their influence. Let's not circumvent that. We all know it. The company gets bigger. The influencer looks good because they're raising money for charity by making themselves more famous. And this company goes out, oh, yay, smiles, happy, happy, yay, 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 we're making lots of money for charity. And your selves. How charitable are you really being? I'm asking the question. I'm not saying. I'm posing that for the general populace. How charitable are you actually being? How much money are you actually making? Is this really that philanthropic? Or is it just as cringy as it looks? I don't know. But I can tell you that in my position, having learned about social media influencing, being somebody that has spent the last 7 years of my life trying to build an organization from the ground up and teach young people to help forward engineering and industry in the automotive world and car culture and history, I've seen all the dark sides of this industry from all over the place, from foundations to social media influencers everywhere. And I've gotten pushed around from everything from sanctioning bodies to giant insurance companies. Because the charitable actions that I was actually doing didn't work for them socially or politically, or didn't make them look good. And I don't really care if you don't like it, because I'm trying to forward the future. So I bring this up to talk about. Comment below. What do you think? Because the internet nowadays is so much noise. Just a constant loud stream of noise. And how do you tap into things that are actually worthwhile and right, that are growing for a genuine, better future? And it isn't just people trying to get more famous to make more money to sell out to every little thing. It's too much. and I don't really like it. Now, some of you very snarky internet trolls out there right now may say, well, Casey, are you just butthurt because they're not doing something with you? A little, but not for the percentage you think. Yeah, I find it really annoying that a sweepstakes type thing that does the automotive deal raise money for charity, but Genius Garage being a growing one, they won't touch because I'm not a big enough influencer. That's true, they won't. But they don't care what charity it is. What's their prime directive? What's their mission? What's their value? Or do they just pick a charity that maybe also has the biggest outreach? Pick whatever charity at the time pops the search engine optimization. Pick whatever charity for whatever social, political, or economical reason makes them look the best at any given time. I can tell you it probably has a lot to do with that. Because most of the people out there don't actually care about making things better. They care about looking good and search engine optimization and making a lot of money, and getting a lot of followers, subscribers. Because unfortunately, all of those things are the capital of our time. So I urge you all to look out there at the internet and the world with your core values and your eyes and your ears, and look around and think. And decide, is this really something worthwhile? Or is it just more of the same? People trying to climb over top of each other and step up on top of each other for a better view and more power. It's disappointing. So that's all. Sweepstakes. If they're cringy, well, maybe your spidey sense are tingling. But there are some out there I think that are worthwhile. I recently saw one in the US that's much smaller, and the gentleman has already made his money and done the things he wants, and he wants to see it continue for the betterment of charities. So instead of being a tiny amount of money, if it goes to charity like the other thing, where most of it's overhead and going to the company, he made it so it's like this. So they can pay their bills and do what they need to be truly philanthropic and actually better society with charities or nonprofits that matter. That's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. I just made a bunch of enemies. Oh man, Casey, you're not playing the political game well enough. You have to be nice to everybody so hopes they work with you one day. First of all, they're not gonna work with you. They don't care. And if you become big enough, they're gonna work with you anyway, whether they want to or not. And then you get to be the deciding factor for the betterment of the future of values. That's it. I will not kowtow to stuff. I've spent the last 7 years of my life beating it, working for kids, making the future better. And do you really think I'm gonna back down from this? No. It's gonna be better. Anyway, you guys, I hope this has been interesting food for thought. Pardon me if I'm being a little overly feisty. Been working hard today. Very excited. The Genius Garage students, once this Corona business calms down, we've got the Lycan Hypersport body. What up? And then, of course, the Porsche Boxster, yes, that is going to get the chop and sectioned up. So students have the ability to build their own hypercar this year. I'm excited about it, and catch you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and naturally that you will subscribe, but please click that bell so I can continue to bring you wholesome and entertaining automotive content. Also, a huge thanks to Avalon King ceramic coating. They're supporting this channel and making this all possible. But more importantly, I'm looking forward to using it on all of my vehicles, including my old dirt bike. Ceramic coating bonds directly to the surface of your paint, trim, and plastics to give a long-lasting shine that beats all waxes. It lasts for years and it's easy to maintain. I've got it on my Viper right now, and my car has never looked this good. So give them a try. Again, thanks for watching, and I look forward to see you next time.